How's it going, my dream people? DrSlaking, the Slacking Doctor, back with the draft analysis for your Bowlen Bovines in Season 2, I believe it is, of the EWT, that's the Eon World Trophy. Huge thank you to Auto and anybody else in charge of that league for inviting us to be a part of it and including us this season. Once I saw the applications were live, I knew it was a league I wanted to be a part of. It is running in the period between the sort of post-home Wi-Fi decks, pre-DLC Wi-Fi decks. So what that means is we have access to things like the Swords of Justice Pokemon, but we don't yet have access to any new Pokemon that are coming back in the DLC, essentially, or any new moves that are coming to Pokemon in the DLC, because it all has to be Wi-Fi legal. Even though we're playing on LAN, we're not doing anything with like unreleased abilities with like the starters, no Grassy Surge, Rillaboom, anything like that, and we're not doing anything with Dynamaxing or Gigantamaxing in this league, which is fine by me, because I really, no offense to any leagues that are doing things with them, I know people are trying to use them in restricted ways. I find that meta just very dull to watch and very dull to play in, so absolutely not something that interests me. That being said, as I say, full respect to leagues that are doing it. I appreciate they're just trying to make the best out of a bad situation. It's not for me and doesn't really interest me. Anyway, back to the point here. So this is our draft. I wanted to be a part of this league. Last season I saw other people were in it. Had I known it was going on, had I had the free time, I might have applied to be in it. But once I saw it all announced, I saw the people, I was like, man, I want to get in that league in the future. Some people in it that I had battled before and some that I hadn't, I wanted to battle. So we were pretty late in the draft order here. I'm not a huge fan of long draft analysis, so I'm going to try and rattle through this as quickly as I can. I need to apologise, there might be some audio issues here. My audio might not sound great. I might need a new microphone. I just tried recording this once already. It didn't sound great, so I'm re-recording it. Hopefully I don't need a new mic, because I just bought a brand new computer, brand new Elgato. If I then need a brand new mic, like, it would have just been everything at once. But anyway, by the by, you don't care about that. Let's talk about what I picked at round one. Round one, huge thank you to my front office for helping me draft this, although they didn't like what I ended up with. Round one, we got Taraki. Everyone liked this pickup. Taraki, incredible Pokemon, incredible wall breaker, incredible cleaner, double setup, rock polish, sword stance. Got Mega Horn this gen to help with bop, bulky psychics. Yeah, all round phenomenal Pokemon. Better in Draft League than I think it is in Smogon. So if you're a Smogon player and you don't follow much Draft League and you think, you know, Tarakan's not a major player right now in OU. I don't know how much it is. I don't think it's huge in OU right now. I think it's better in Draft than in that format. So, starting off with a threat. What does Tracheon love? Tracheon loves slow momentum. I mentioned this in my How to Improve at Pokemon video, which if you haven't watched, quick plug, go check that out. I thought it was alright, bit long, but, you know, it was a off-the-cuff thing. So we picked up some slow momentum, because I spoke about that in the video. That's what Taraki loves, right? It's not particularly... Its stats are bulky enough, but its defensive typing makes it frail, because it's got so many common weaknesses. Fighting, fairy, psychic, water, grass, like, it just has a bunch of common weaknesses. Steel. So we picked up a resist to a few of those ground. In Mandibuzz, we picked up a psychic resist, we picked up a good ground immunity, a psychic immunity as well, sorry, not resist. So yeah, this thing also can take on fighting types pretty well, most fighting types. I have beaten a Congelda 1v1 with this thing before, so that's about as strong as fighting types get in this meta. Really, really great mon. Mandibuzz is phenomenal. I should do nicknames as well. Terrakion won't be shiny this season, will be nicknamed Lancaster. Mandibuzz will be nicknamed Old World. It's always been my Mandibuzz nickname. Won't be shiny either, because I don't like either of those Pokemon in shiny form. Phenomenal slow pivot, great defogger, heavy duty boots, makes Mandibuzz even bulkier nowadays, if you're worried about hazards coming up. But yeah, just phenomenal slow pivot, phenomenal wall, great mon even in Smogon right now. So yeah, awesome pickup. Seems early round 2, I appreciate that. What is going on in the music in my headphones? This is very bizarre, but still. Great mon. Round 3, web support for Terrakion. You gotta love it. Nice ground resist as well. Nice water immunity if we want to run water absorb or whatever it is that this thing gets. But water bubbles still means that it's a nice bulky water resist that cannot be burnt by Scalds or Will-O-Wisps. And that's really, really nice, because Mandibuzz, a lot of your walls often don't care about being burnt, but Mandibuzz doesn't want to lose its foul play damage or its Brave Bird damage. So having a really, really nice Scald / Will-O-Wisp switch in Arachnid is awesome. In my opinion, the best web setter in the format. Also an okay wall breaker if you want to bring like Banded Liquidation with Water Bubble is really strong. So good mon. Also likes heavy duty boots if you're running bulky sets. So pretty funky. Round 4, Whimsicott. Pretty early for Whimsicott, I appreciate, but I just love this thing. One of my favourite fairy types in the format. Great team support again with Prankster Stun Spore, Prankster Tailwind. Brings in steals and poisons, are the common mons that want to wall out a Whimsicott, if you click U-turn on the switch in of the bulky steel or the bulky poison, you get Terrakion in and something's dying because it doesn't care about poison types. They can't really hurt a Terrakion in most cases, and it loves steel types because it gets to click close combat. So real nice kind of type synergy in terms of pivoting with Terrakion, as well as being an okay resist to grass and fighting along with Mandibuzz, also a water resist along with Araquanid, so and ground resist along with Araquanid and Mandibuzz. So we've really covered like a bunch of Terrakion's weaknesses right now. The main ones we've got left to cover are kind of Fairy and probably Steel to some extent, although Araquanid does help with that. So moving on. Next up, we picked up Copperajah. First one on the draft that I didn't want to pick up but felt kind of forced into. All the other good bulky steel types that Cassette rocks were gone. This isn't a bulky steel type. It might look like one. It might have the HP stat of one, but this thing is frail. Like, it just is. Or at least the way it's commonly built is frail. So we're going to experiment with it this season. The front office were pretty against this pick. I was pretty against this pick. I don't really like Gen 8 Mons in general, not design-wise. It looks awesome. Competitively, I don't think they're very good. So let me know what you guys think of Copperajah. Do you think it's a good Mon? Do you think it's slept on? Or do you think it's a little bit overrated? I think for its price tier being like a mid to high tier 3, I think it will drop, especially once DLC comes out and we get a load of the decks back to us. I think this thing's going to drop. I think people will find out that it's really not as threatening as it should be outside of Trick Room teams. So hey ho, it's a good bulky rocker, and well, it's a good rocker, and I needed one. It does 4 switches, and it gets rocks up on the switch-ins, and unlike Terrakion, it can afford to run rocks on most sets. It doesn't want to be running like Banded or Scarf, or double setup moves, or Surb, or whatever, so it's just a more able rocker than Taraki. I'm more happy to do it, and this draft is really about getting the most out of Tarak. So, I forgot to do nicknames for the others. Araquanid is going to be nicknamed Vern, will be shiny. Whimsicott, as always, is going to be Storm, will be shiny. Copperajah will not be shiny and will be nicknamed Darjeeling. Moving on, next up we have Toxtricity. Second Gen 8 Mon. I didn't draft any Gen 8 Mons in UBL. If you follow that league, you'll know that, yeah, I'm a boomer. I don't like them. So we have the boomer here, though, with the Boom Burst Mon. This thing will just click buttons. I think it's good. I think this thing is actually good. I don't like Shift Gear Throat Spray. I think a lot of people are using this thing wrong right now. I think like Specs or other items are better. I think just run it special with Boom Burst, Overdrive, and then Volt Switch and maybe another move, but I don't like Throat Spray, Shift Gear. I think Throat Spray is a very bad item on nearly every Pokemon. I think it's hype because it's just come into the game, and I get that, but no, like I've seen like Throat Spray Swallow, stuff like that, just put Specs on it. Just put Specs on it, it's better, in my opinion. You get that instant power. We actually played one of these in UBL, and had it been Specs, it would have punched a much larger hole, but because it was Throat Spray, we were able to take 2 from it, and 1v1 it with our AV Reuniclus, so that's my opinion anyway. This thing will be nicknamed Thundercat, and I'm pretty excited to use it. I think, again, slow momentum with that Volt Switch, because if your ground type, let's say your ground type is Diggersby, you are not switching in on this thing. If I reveal Specs early in the game, you're never bringing a Diggersby in on a Specs Boom Burst because you will die. Which means I'm clicking Specs Volt Switch and I'm getting momentum and I'm getting Terrakion in for free on whatever you do switch into. So yeah, this thing, just by being so threatening, is a pretty good pivot as well. And it also likes being brought in for free, which brings us on to this one. Great ground resist for our primary 2 wall break, or primary 3 wall breakers, I guess, in Terrakion, Copperajah, and Toxtricity, all very ground weak. So we've picked up Mandibuzz as a ground immunity. 2 ground resists in our team support Mons, if you like, with Araquanid and Whimsicott, and then a ground immunity here with our next kind of team support Mon in Claydol. I think it's pretty bad. We took it pretty early, but it was cheap. It gets rocks up reliably. It's a very bulky ground type, like it is bulky, and it does get teleport now. So in the way that I play, I don't really play with walls. Like, that's not super my playstyle. Like, you won't see me win many games with a defensive win con. That's just... Everyone, I think, has their strengths and weaknesses, and mine lies in playing a more offensive game. So I'm okay that this thing doesn't have recovery, because I'm not someone who wants to sit with their Hippowdon in front of somebody else for 20 turns slacking off. Like, I want to throw this thing in, take 1 hit, click teleport, get the momentum back, and go back on the front foot and win the game offensively. So I think I can get some usage out of this thing because of the way I play. Everyone else tells me I can't. We'll find out. Trick Room plus teleport is pretty nice for Copperajah now, which is kind of like a hidden tech on it, because you get that negative priority on your teleport. You can get Copperajah in for free every time under Trick Room. It's a bit like how Clef uses Wish support now in OU. Yeah, it's a spinner, it's a Trick Roomer, it's a rocker. It might be good, it might not be. We'll find out, won't we? Next up, we've got Qwilfish, another Mon, controversial pickup. We're really getting into just team support elements now. Maybe I didn't draft enough offense on this team in general, but yeah, I love hazards. So I needed a spiker, I needed a T-spiker, and I've got one here. Double poison, you could say, is a bit whatever, but they're pretty different Mons. They are both weak to Psychic and Ground, like that's the same, but they do very different things for the team. Obviously this thing, you know, double poison, double water, a lot of people don't like type overlaps. I don't really care. Intimidate plus Hazard Stack is just good on this team. Terrakion and Toxtricity, love Hazard Stack, so if I can wear things down with spikes and T-spikes, I'm going to do that. Next up, we've got Charizard. Oh, I forgot nicknames. Claydol is going to be nicknamed Effigy. Qwilfish is going to be nicknamed... Hold on, I got it all over here on my second screen because these days we got second screens, we're fancy like that. Whew. Did anyone mention that I just bought a new computer? Spent all my money on this shit. Spiegel, Spike Spiegel, the Qwilfish, because it's got spikes, obviously. And then Charizard is going to be nicknamed Masatan. That might change. That was loose, but at the minute, Masatan, the Charizard. Wallbreaker, Tailwind. Sweeper, Dragon Dance Sweeper, maybe. I don't know, it might be bad, but I like the Flying Fire typing in general. I've used Talonflame pretty briefly a couple of times before. It's very good, and I think with the addition of Boots, Talonflame will be amazing, as will Moltres. Charizard, definitely the worst of the Fire Flying, but maybe we can get something out of it. I think it has some really cool sets that we can try and cook up here, so it might not be the best pick in the world, and it might get dropped. Maybe Qwilfish, maybe Claydol as well, but yeah, I wanted to try out some new things going into the late part of the draft, and this looks fun. Last up, we picked up Rotom. Great fighting and ground immunity for Tarakion. So I wanted a Rotom form. I wanted all of the others apart from grass over this, so water. Well, I say all the others that are good, which is water and fire, because Rotom Fan and Rotom Frost are bad. So yeah, I guess I wanted only two others. But I couldn't get them, they both got sniped, so I picked up this in the end instead. Really nice synergy with Tarakion, super nice synergy with Tarakion, great speed tier for the team at 91, really rounds out all my speed tiers perfectly. I think it's a good pivot. This is, of all my late round picks, like I think this was the best one, although a lot of people think it's bad. Again, I think for my playstyle, if I can bring it in on a Cobalion CC, and then I can Volt switch out into my Terrakion as the Cobalion goes for Swords Dance or something, and then my Scarf Terrakion can collect close combat and kill the Cobalion. You can see how it can kind of just keep the initiative of an offense in my favor in certain games. If I can bring it in on a... what are the good normal types in this format? There aren't any. Tauros isn't in it, like nothing. None of the low tier good normal types are in it. Are there any good Obstagoon? Not really relevant for this example. If there were a good normal type, I could bring it in on that as well. Anyway, Will-O-Wisp support, Thunderwave support. We've got a bunch of status on the team, bunch of speed control on the team. So I think it's really cool team. I don't think it's the most powerful team I've ever drafted offensively. Probably not the best team I've ever drafted. But I think it is the team that I've drafted that will get the most out of Terrakion. So that was the idea here. Hopefully this team can go crazy this season. We'll just have to wait and see. Let me know what you guys think of Mons like Toxtricity and Caparaja. Last nickname for Rotom as well as Bosch. I always nickname my Rotom's Bosch. So let's see how we do. I think I don't know. I'm looking at it now and I'm like, this looks like a fun team. I think it looks underwhelming on paper because there's like only two really great wall breakers in Toxtricity and Terrakion, and that's not how I draft. But there's a lot of synergy here. Like there's a lot of sensible thought gone into it, and maybe sensible thought will beat raw power. Maybe it won't. Who knows? But yeah, let me know what you guys think of the team. I'm excited to try it at the very least. Thank you so much for loafing around with me, and I'll catch you again next time.